Okay, that might look a little dark. It could be potentially disturbing. I can't tell yet, but it looks a little dark. I might have to throw some light on the subject. Of course, you're going to get the glare, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, if you look to your lower right, yeah, I'm Anthony Gray, Grayscale Painting. You guys know who it is. All right. I did a painting. Hello, Sonia. Hello, Rosemary. A 12 by 18 inch watercolor paper, glycerin already put on it, black paint with the glycerin. Okay, I got a boat marked animal up there flying around. Okay, relatively simple painting. 6 years ago, I did a painting of Noah's Ark, and I see by the comments that people are enjoying it. So, thanks, Madonna. Relatively simple painting, really, only a couple of colors, really, actually. All right, I'll see how much of this I'll feel like going through. Okay, we're gonna paint a storm, more or less, at least I'm gonna try to. And stormy clouds, some lightning, and then, you know, waves all over the place, and then the ark. So let's see how much of this I'll trudge through. Okay, all right. As I'm talking to you, I'm looking for a brush that can somehow do the trick here, more or less. I'm going to use a transparent color. This very deep dark blue I'm going to use, okay? And I'm going to go over the black with it. All right, just like so. I'll just keep rubbing it in there. Now, you can see the blue a little bit, but as we keep messing with it, it'll just it just starts to dry, whatever. It's still going to take on the look of being black. That's a transparent color, and that's what we're doing right now. All right, I got some tape down there because I just wanted to work on one subject at a time, pretty much. Okay, something like that. All right, all right. All the rest, we're just going to mess around and put clouds in there. I'll take one of these brushes. I'll just the tip of it white, and we'll just start to put something in there, and then we're just going to use the side of the brush, and we're just going to fluff and wave around some things in there like this. Okay, and we're just going to keep doing that. I'm going to just wipe the blue off the brush. A nice tip of white. We get a nice bright spot, and as we do the bright spot, we're just going to pat really softly and try to get the semblance of some stormy stuff going through. Okay, wipe off the brush, do some more here and there. And once again, just take the side of the brush, get some billows of clouds happening there. I'm gonna wipe the brush off. I'm gonna lightly fade some of that in, just have it, the appearance of it going in the dark, but you see the effect and what it's looking like already. Okay, put a little something in here like that, and just kind of scumble away. And so this is just one of these interesting looking effects you can do with a little white paint, transparent color. Just add a little brightness here. And I'm just tapping it in very softly, and like that. I don't even really have to put in too many of them, really. I'll come down here and add a couple in there, just scumble away. Wipe my brush off. Hopefully my head isn't in the way too much. Get a little brightness in here. And really whatever your heart's desire. Okay. Scumble some stuff in there, here and there. You can make it look pretty ominous. I'm so sorry. Still got that issue over here on the side. I'm sorry. I'll somehow work that out. Let's take some of this light color and we'll scumble on some things in between here. Just some light stuff in here. I'm gonna show you something else too as I'm playing around here. Come around Mr. Birdie a little bit. Okay. I'll just take this wide brush here. Get some rain going. I'm gonna just take the brush very lightly. I'll press a little bit. Maybe some of this will work, maybe it won't. And if it doesn't, it's okay. We'll create some more. We'll create something out of it. Okay. It's trying. Not good enough, but it's trying. It's okay. It's all right. Let's there's a few ways I can do this. Let's try it the lazy way. I kind of want to get things moving. So I'll take a small brush. I dip a little water, come over here, get a little tiny bit of white, just like that. All right, I'll start from over here somewhere, and I'll just do a couple little splatter things like that. All right. Then while it's wet, very lightly, I can see I need a little more opaque white. It looks like I can get away with it. So we'll try it again. Something like that. And we'll just take it, go downward. Yeah, that will give you the appearance of some raindrops there. A couple more, pop them in there. Take the brush, because you want the semblance of rain, not snow. We'll put it in there. You just keep at it. I'll be doing this a few times. You guys don't see it over here. I'm so sorry. And plus the paint is still wet, so it's going to take on that bluish tinge. Like I say, I'll be doing this over again because of, you know, taking the bird off, taking the ship off, and you're going to have bits of rain in there too. All right. But it's a pretty cool way to kind of show weather and what's happening, what's going on, and keep it in one direction also. All right. Okay. I think that's cool for right now, for the rain for right now. Let's throw a few lightning bolts in there. How about that? Did you mask the arc? Yes, I do. Yeah, the arc is right here. You're gonna see it shortly. The seagull is right here. And to put the arc behind a little bit, even if you use a bit of the tail for the seagull, that will also work. Okay. Where am I at? What am I thinking here? Okay, so we got that pretty much knocked off there a bit. All right. We can, as of right now, I can probably put in the body of water, okay, before we go into any waves or detail like that. All right, no problem, Madonna. Sonia, Rosemary. I think that's all who's here so far. All right, okay. So, oh, lightning. That's right, lightning. Let's throw some lightning in there. I'm just looking for a brush that I can do this and get away with it a little bit here. I guess I'll use the old beat up. This old beat up guy. I should really get a thicker one. I want some nice chunky or nice bolts. Paint's still a little damp. It's going to take probably a bluish tinge to it, more or less. That's okay. This script liner has seen better days. I think it's about to give up the ghost, to be honest with you. Let's put a bolt right in here. Okay, I'm gonna go kind of thick like this. It kind of don't matter. I'm twisting it around. We'll have it come here like that. I know it looks kind of rough for a lightning bolt, but we'll pretty it up. We'll actually, let's do something like with it right now. Okay, so we got something semblance of a lightning bolt. And what I'm going to do is just tap to soften some of those edges a bit, so it looks like flowing electricity. Just around its edges a little bit. Okay, then I can come back, add some glowing white stuff in that a little bit. All right. Then you know how lightning has that little thin little tendril things just sticking out there, going all over the place. Something like that. Something like that. We have a bolt coming down here like this. Something like that. I'm going to take my other brush, just a small amount of white, and we'll come and put a glow of some stuff going on there. I'm going to wipe off the brush, and I'll just smooth out some of those little corners there. My head is in the way. I'm sorry that my head is in the way like that. I'll learn to move my head. I'm not really that self-conscious about it yet. That's why we're running into those little issues. Okay. Maybe we'll brighten it up around in here. And we get one thick one coming down like that. Just getting some more white, some more water. If you can, try to get away with using the tip. Almost like painting tree branches. Of course, these branches will fry you in an instant. Thicken that one. Let's come over here and soften some of that up. If I tend to make it disappear a little bit like that, that's okay. You can bring the bolt back. Twirl it around a bit. Come around this way. And we'll have something come around here. I'm twisting the brush as I'm doing it. A little brighter white there. Have it come down. I'll wait for some of that to dry and we'll, continue on with it. Let's have something peeking around this corner. Probably right up around in here. Okay. Get some more white. Have its little glow around in here somewhere like this. Okay. I'm going to have to wait for some of this to dry to continue to add little rain droplets in there. Once again, we'll come back to some of these. All right, but something like that. And we'll brighten some of those up, straighten some of those out as we move along. I can take Mr. Softy, because some of some of it might still be a little. Bring some of that out there like that. And even if it doesn't move the paint around, it's fine. Don't worry about that, because we're going to add more of that on there anyway, so don't worry about that. Okay, let's take this tape off. Paintings like this don't take very long, really. I was just thinking about something for a second. All right, I really don't need to add this tape on there like that. That won't be necessary. So this will be the last of the tape for me to use. Probably the most complicated thing really to do in this painting was the ship. And maybe, you know, sketching out the bird or whatever. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to use obviously some black. I got the black dipped into some of that leftover water, no big deal. Okay, and what we did up above, we're going to do down below. Add our black, let it naturally dry, of course, and then we'll add our blues and our whites, and we'll give the impression of because you're not really looking for a straight line with a storm. Okay. And we're going to let this naturally dry before we put other paint on and add our little effects. So once again, doing this part of it is not relatively difficult. Not necessarily. We're going to come here to the edge. I mean, the edge is fairly dark. They're going to be kind of melted together. And if you notice, I painted this at an angle. And it just adds really to the suspense of a storm. So we got it at a slightly warped angle. Okay, it's not level. Storms are crazy and disjointed, and so you just try to give that image of a storm being like that. Okay, but now as you see, we make the white disappear. Okay, things are now looking a little more tense for good old Noah. Somebody has asked me to paint pretty much the black and white version again, but on 24 by 36. And I told them I'll do it. But they want pretty much that version than this version, which is fine. That's cool. I'll do another black and white version. It's all right. And I may, once I get the canvas, I might put it on board though. But I may do a video or two on it. Okay, I might do that. Alrighty then. So let's let that tack up and do what it do. Okay? Okay. I know that I don't really want to do the bird. I'm going to have to do some clever cutting here. Let's see if I can go keep the bird there and go around the ship. We're about to find out right now. I think I did it. We'll see. We will see. careful peeling this stuff off, because now I had to really press this tape on here so I don't have no leaks. Okay. There's this little bit on this corner that I do have to get up. The tail, once again, the tail is here, so I have to be careful. Well, let's do it this way. Let's go from back here. See if I can just get away with it from the other side. Yeah, should have did it that way to begin with, right? I think I got it. I can always do something there with the tail. Okay, that's cool. That works. All right, well, there's your arc. All right, okay. There is your arc. What I will do with, because the arc, now the arc has to be painted in a certain ways, mostly backlit. I added a little extra so you can kind of see that there's one side to it, but believe it or not, all of this is fairly dark. It's just this half. It's because of the light and the flashes or whatnot. It's causing that backlit for this guy. Okay. All right. So now that I just mentioned that, I'm gonna take a how do I want to do this so it looks kind of cool? Let's take some of this. We're gonna deal with the blue and black. Before I do that, I'm gonna take a thin marker. I don't necessarily have to do what I'm about to do because it's so backlit, but instead of using just stark black, I think I'll use the blue black, and we'll play with that a little bit. I have to be careful because I know some of this paint isn't really entirely dry, so I got to be very careful how I press it and do this. I'll add some of the slats of wood, just some. I don't know how much of that these slats will be seen once I put it in there, but it's also another reason why I kept them penciled in. Also, I'll erase a majority of this once I do what I feel needs to be done in here. I'm also gonna be careful not to go, because there's a corner. It's a bolt, of course, so and it's shaped kind of rounded in areas, and I'll show you how to kind of go around that so we can kind of get away with a few things. Actually, not too many of these lines will be shown. I might not be shown at all, but in case they are, I don't want I don't want this side of the boat to be super dark. This is that artistic license thing kicking in. Okay. Yeah, some of this will be covered by waves and things like that, but even you guys can see some of that going on. But then again, you know, I put the windows in and such. Like I say, you might not see all of that. Okay, here is a little tricky because it's really bowled out. Okay, I got the lines here, but it's not flat. All right, so what I'll do, especially with the first one's here, and what I'll do is I'll lightly make a curve like this on each one and follow it, so it's still in its perspective. and you just kind of make it higher. It takes a little practice. As we go further down, it kind of scoops and goes the other way like that. You guys can see, actually you can see this as I'm doing it. Around here, around this corner, around this little curve here, it kind of goes around. All right, and you got to kind of find it. It can be a little tricky, but you'll do it. You'll be able to find it. One is straight like this. One is kind of straight. And once you get it, you find that straight one. Okay, I'll keep doing that curve. Once you find that straight one, then the other ones will start to slightly go in the other direction. It keeps it kind of keeps the illusion of this thing having a kind of slightly bold bottom there, like that. All right. Okay. Now, even though this might not really necessarily be necessary, I just do it out of force of habit. Once it's somewhat dry, I just get rid of the pencil lines, really, because of the shape of what you got inked in will keep the contour of the boat. So I just knock out the pencil line, even though technically, really, you're not going to see the pencil lines once you put paint over it. But this is just me. It's an old habit that I have back in my little comic days. Okay. And so you don't smudge and smear stuff, just take a brush and just brush it out of there. Just like that. All right. Okay. Yeah, well, there you go, an arc. All right. Fatima, 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 how are you? No leaks. Yeah, it's gonna be obviously monstrous. It's gonna be something else. Okay, so now, technically, if I had a brain, I would work on the arc, and I think that would be best for me to work on the arc. It's going to be take another set of brushes to do so, but the arc won't be as time consuming as you would think. No, it won't. But I am going to do something quick here. Because I'm not going to use full black, you can get away with this. Once again, artistic license is just my comic book nature coming in. I'll take a Sharpie, alcohol based. And what's going to be stark black will be the inside of the windows right in here. I'm doing it the correct way. I'm left-handed, so I'm painting from the right going to the left, which is the correct way. With a permanent marker, which is alcohol based, be careful when you put the alcohol based marker on paper. It does tend to spread a wee bit, so be mindful of that. I'm used to it, so I know what it's going to do, so I paint, or these windows are getting a little larger as they're coming toward me, so I'm gonna change markers. But I know what it's going to do, okay? And I know it might be even foolhardy to look at what I'm doing, keeping that little reflection of white in there. This is just a thicker marker, so I can just do this a little quicker. I'm like, why am I taking paying such attention to detail? That's because people like yourselves will notice it if it's not there. So people do look. They do look. But that's why. once again, each and every window, I'm gonna do it as best I can. Try not to make too many mistakes. Even though I know it's gonna be mostly silhouetted and dark. Okay. I gotta be careful. I gotta be mindful. Same thing in here. I really don't think they had any 50-watt bulbs back then, so it's pretty dark. Pretty dark. Every bit of yonder windows will be kind of painted in there. We have an ominous little shadow right here underneath the lip of the boat, right in here. Yep, put it in black. It's all right. That little bit of shadow right there. Okay, all right. Underneath the lip here, especially over the curve like that, put a little bit of a shadow in there underneath. Even though you really won't see much of it, but put it in there. Because the line weight adds dimension. Got me? I know you do. Right in here is solid black too. It's the shadow side. Once again, this is the side that's not seeing much light. The lightning's shining on the other half of the arc. Not about that far, that's fine, but now you see it kind of filling out a little bit there. Aye. Okay. I do have some gouache. Gouache is opaque watercolor. All right, I do have a little tube of it. I'll put it right in here. You don't really need too much of that. All right, we'll paint in the boat real quick. It will be some. Well, we'll paint it and you'll see. Okay, let's get some water. I got a filbert here. Now, gouache you handle a little differently because obviously it's basically a watercolor. And there we go. See that? All right, and we're doing obviously wet on dry. There's not going to be anything really much faded in here. All right. Okay, we're going to come around. I'm not going to do the entire boat. That won't be necessary. And this is light at first. We're going to start light and go dark from there. Yeah, something like that, pretty much. And while it's a little wet, well, before I continue on with that, this maybe around in here it'll have some. All right, let's take some little bit of the darker sienna here. It's still wet, and we're going to come up around in here, add some love down on the bottom here. It's going to naturally just blend by itself. Okay, maybe a little bit around in this area like that. Maybe a little bit there. Just add a little water here. And a little water up under there for a second. It doesn't matter if it's stained or not. It's no big deal. A little bit of acrylic, a little bit of black, a little bit of that brownish color right there. And we'll kind of put some of that love in there. It's going to spread apart anyway. Don't worry, matter. Right up on this side. We'll color that side. I'll put a little bit of that under there, like that. And with the water, I'll just blend it circular. I'm not really worried about all of that back there. Okay. Okay. We'll put this back. We're going to dip my brush in the water. Let's come over here. Let's get a little bit of blue right here like that. A little bit of that brownish. Can you mix these two together, gouache and acrylic? You most certainly can, just like you see me doing it right exactly at this moment. Okay, yes you can. Get a touch of black and you put it right in that mix like this. Okay. All right. Now dip that into water. See, you can dip both mediums into water. You got me? Sure you do. Of course you do. All right, let's put that first layer on. You guys ready for this? Watch this. Right where the ship is up over in here on this side. Okay. Everything on this side is pretty much freaky dark. And it is water. You're not going to get as many streaks as you think when you do this. And plus the color is pretty similar to its background. So it's all right. Okay. Basically, I'm just getting rid of that. Get rid of that line a little bit right in here, that little distinct line. But we'll play with that as we move on. All right. But you see what it's starting to look like now. You follow me? Okay. A little touch of black into this bluish color. A little stronger black, that's all. You gradually do this. You follow me? Gradually do it. Come back up to the roof area. Well, no, let's leave the roof area like that. Let's go right from the awning here, right here. And then go downward. So we'll still keep some dimension to this guy. I'm overlapping a little bit, going a little smoother. I wanted it to go from the awning, which is fine. And while it's wet, I'll take Mr. Finger here and kind of fade that a wee bit. Put one under here, add a little bit of that love in here. Now, you see this, that's because it's wet. Let it dry. Let it dry. You're all right. Let it dry. I can probably get away with that. Probably. But, you know, I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm going to probably go a little darker than that. But we'll let that dry. Let's get this started. I added glycerin, right? All right. Hold on. I did add glycerin. It's all right if I dip my glycerin with the blue stuff, and we'll just kind of play around in here. Obviously, you'll see the glycerin because it's reflective. Just a dab will do you, so I'm really working it in there, as you can see. Work it right in there. Now take some from over here and just keep adding it. A very thin amount you need. This brush isn't as thick or as large as the other ones. Just put it in there real fast. If you feel you put too much glycerin on, you can always take a little paper towel and just wipe it. You're not going to wipe it all the way, but just wipe it if it's too much. So if I feel I put too much on there, I can just take a tissue, wipe it off, and we're good as gold. The thing about watercolor paper is that it soaks this stuff in. No flashlights. They did have candles, but no flashlights. But I don't think they're going to be used too many candles if you're not well ventilated. All that methane could cause some issues. Just saying. Okay. We can add a little blue to this deep blue. Okay. Because I still want to go back to that, so we'll add the deep blue in here. Just pop it in there like that. Same thing I did with the clouds, you just do with this blue. All right? Just put it in there. Once again, this painting is not as complicated as you would feel it should be. Not really. You'll probably take more time painting the waves than anything else. But we'll show you a way around that too. That will make it hopefully look convincing. All right. So we have this. Okay. Got the paint on top of the glycerin doing its thing right now. Okay. All right. Let's put this brush away. I don't believe I need it right now. Now I'm waiting for this to tack up, or not tack, well, really dry a little bit. Okay, it's getting there. Let's take the smallest amount of white right there on the tip of my brush like this. Okay. All right. We know that with the lightning strikes, which I will be going over again, okay, parts of the water is lit a wee bit. And once again, just like we've blocked out the ocean with the color or whatever, all right, don't worry about that. That's going to dry up. It's not going to really matter. It's going to be, stuff going on over there. Okay. You can pretty much kind of sort of gauge where you want your lit areas, more or less. Okay. Let's say you want, like, you can make a path. Let's just paint a path like this. We'll paint a path. Chop it up like that. Just, it's still a path, but we're gonna kind of chop it up with a spider web that way. All right. We got, okay, that's the extreme left side of the path. We got a little plane of stuff here. Maybe like right around here like that. Okay. All right. And here's the other part of the path. That's the first part of the path. Here's the other one right in here. And we're going to have a kind of a smile like that. All right. And then you take this and you play around with it. The more you play around with this, I'm not making it perfect. Don't try to. You're just messing with the light path right now. See, it's just a path. All right. See this? And if you want, keep your brush straight and just go along with the path you just made. All right, some of that white. So keep your brush straight. That'll make it a little. Okay, just keep your brush straight. And you see, the more I'm playing with it, the bluer it's getting. That's kind of the idea. We got some out here. And once again, I'm just more or less just filling this stuff out. Just like that. Just keep it like that. Okay. I'm not worried about no cutesy fading ins or whatever. Bam. There it is. All right. Okay. Let's get a little more paint. And we got some residual stuff kind of hobbling around in there. This is not really the calmest water in the world. Don't paint it as such. You got turbulence happening here. And once again, the more you rub it in there, the bluer it's going to get. Okay. So like, get some stuff happening in there like that. Don't destroy all your darks. Okay. All right, we'll leave it somewhat like that. Okay. But you see how it all comes together? All right. Okay. Let's take the same color, or the same brush. Not same color, same brush. We're adding a little more black to this bluish stuff. We water it down just a little bit. Okay. Be a little careful. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water just to be safe. That's a little more black in that. Right from the awning, once again, we're gonna come down. I probably could get away with having it even a little darker than this. Yeah, I can. That's not dark enough for me. That's not dark enough. Who am I kidding? Let's get some more black. Let's really put some black in there. A little bit of blue. A little more black. There we go. And water. Water will make it a little transparent. You still want to see something, but not necessarily the whole thing. It wasn't dark enough for me, to be honest with you. All right. And we're going to do that. There we go. That works. That's better. It's definitely blue-black. Right by that awning, right in here. Now, actually, it's a little more paint on it than blue. Or a little more, yeah, a little more paint than water. But it's all good. Let's see if I can scrounge up some more of that color. I like that part. I probably won't go any further than this. All right, there. That I like. Okay, so now you know something's being struck here. Okay, all right. Okay. Once again, it's not as difficult a painting as you would think. It's not. All right. So now you can see the gradual glow. Little darkness here. The lightning's going to shine off little bits of the wave when we get to it. Okay. I'm going to pretty up some of these lightning bolts here. All right. I'm concentrating, thinking about something else. Let's do this, because we do got some direct hits on the ship itself. So we will go titanium white, just the smallest, tiniest bit. All right. And I'm just gonna really emphasize some hits there. They're just bright stuff, just from the lightning. Okay. And plus it'll help me fade out some of the other color, because white's opaque, so, and we'll kind of brighten things up a little bit in one spot there. A little bit of something going on in here. Just kind of shining on there. I'm just using my finger. Just a little bit of, something pretty bright is happening up around in this area. Okay. All right. So it looks like a little bit of a lightning strike there, or the light from the lightning, not a strike. All right, let's take our beat down script liner, the one that I'm gonna retire. We're gonna take some white, a little water, thin it up a little bit. Right here is creative license. I don't necessarily have to add this, but all right, right here on the edge of the boat, I'm gonna twirl this brush around because I want it kind of bright. So I'll get some more paint. Once you start to see it turn a little blue, get some more paint. Even if I have to go just into the paint itself. It can stagger around a little bit, it's all right. Right here on this side by the bird here. Bring some of that out there like that. Once again, artistic license. You don't necessarily have to add it if you don't want to. Okay, if you don't have to add what I'm doing. Like that. All right, you don't have to. Cool, let it be. As it stands right now, it's pretty dynamic looking as it stands as of right now. All right. Okay, enough of that. We'll leave that alone. Let's play with the bird here. It's a seagull. Why is a seagull out here? Who knows? It's my painting. All right. But he's out there chilling. The seagull's a little different. The seagull, I think I used Scotch tape for Mr. Bird here. I'll be really careful peeling this off. Scotch tape will tear into the paper, so just be mindful of that. Just be careful. And obviously, Scotch tape or the other masking tape, it will not necessarily, this glycerin doesn't dry very well on it. Let's make sure I got that out. I did, okay. This is actually part of the ship, because I think the bird was an afterthought. There. So you actually see the corner of the ship there. Don't worry about that. I'm just getting a little bit of tape off of his little beak, which is going to be a little tricky. There, got it off. All right. Okay. I'm going to take a very narrow pen and I'm going to lightly put where his beak is, where his wings are. His feet are around there somewhere, but his tail or whatnot, I'll just keep it like that. No big deal. Okay, I'll just block in the bird, and then we'll go from there. I'm just picking a paintbrush small enough to where I don't have to fight with the thing. We'll use this little fella. Okay, we'll dig into some, if I got enough. I may or may not have. Get some white, get some black, mix it in there. Pop some gray in there. Okay. All right. Get a little water. Loosen up this gray. And we'll start to block in the bird here. I guess I can go a tad lighter. All right. Let's block in the bird for right now. If I see the blue in it, it's all right. I don't mind the blue on the bird. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. You don't have to be worried about it. It's all right. Get a little bit of water, because I'm just, once again, just blocking in this thing. This is why I added the black, because I'll be able to see his proportions and where he is. It's the only reason why I did add the black line. When it dries, I'll faintly see it. And once again, I'm not too concerned about the blue being in the gray when you're just blocking this fellow in. One of the reasons why I'm also using a flat brush, because I can get these little angles once they start to straighten out a little bit. Okay. All right. And plus, add a little more white to this gray. Lighten it up. Because you can also build your values this way too. Obviously this wing over here, a little closer to the lightning side, so it's a little lighter to begin with. And I'm just using a little bit of water. Because once again, I'm just blocking in the bird, nothing special. Just block it in for right now. Okay, I'm going to take a slight touch of white. Why am I using the white? Once again, just to block in this fella. Now we're doing little tones and where the light would represent for this fella. Right about there. Take the same little brightness. Okay, because you got it all up around in here. Like so. If you don't quite get it, I understand. I get it. This will help you out. Because with the light and the medium tones, you're going to need a little dark, right? Okay. All right, can you tell now? Those varying shades there. Okay. All right. A slight shade of something happening right here in the back end. Not too much. Okay. All right. I'm laughing because of the staining color of these guys. That used to be white, but it's just a stain. In my water, it's the same color blue as some of this. So I just find it a little funny. Okay, let's go into our titanium white. We'll go stick with the light color here. Okay, let's come over here. I'm gonna take my hand, put it around my wrist, so I got a little platform there. Okay, and then we'll just kind of start to paint in some colors. It's not a true white, but we'll get there. We're gonna get there. And if you can see by the way I'm teasing this brush, we're getting some wing patterns in there too. We're getting a little thicker white. And we're going to come here, get it as close as I can so it looks like individual feathers. And we're going to come back again, right on the other layer, just more white, just representing feathers real quick. Okay. Take some of that bright white, put it here. Right here on the tip, red all around in here. Not necessarily all of it. I'll leave some of the front a little bit gray. All right. Pull this bright white to you. I'll go right from the back here. I don't want to fill every single thing. Come here, I'll flip the brush over and we're gonna go across, we'll go across the other way here like this. Okay. Still looking at it, still looking at it. Just wiping off the brush real quick. Let's take our, oh man. Oh, I can't get with it with that either. Maybe I sort of, no, I can't. Let's see. Take a little white. I'm gonna go over here, get a little bit of this brownish color. We'll put it right here. I don't know if you guys can necessarily see that very well. I'm gonna take a cap of yellow, which is the yellow in the cap. I don't need too much. I'll just dip it in there. We'll play around in it with this. Get some more. There we go. We'll just keep playing with it like that. Why do I go through this much trouble? Because just because it belongs there. And it sticks out there, you see? Okay. See if I can tease a little. Nope. I'm trying. This see if I can get a little bit. Probably not. No problem. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. And for those of you who don't know, around 5 o'clock, few hours, in a few hours, I do paint a watercolor. Actually, it's gouache. I thought I had watercolor. Gouache is nothing but opaque watercolor. You handle it the same way, okay? It still works with the white of the paper, but it's a lot more opaque than traditional watercolor. But still, the procedure is the same. But I'm doing a watercolor painting, which is, I think it's the first time. I do believe I did it since my site. I had my site that I did one on camera. And it is of a barn, all watercolor. As you see, whose name is on the barn, that's the one who had asked me more of a challenge to paint in that medium, and so I did so. Okay. All right. Here, let's play with this for a second. Let's take the black. We'll add a little bit of water in there. Use the tip of the brush. We'll do a couple of bands right on the tip of his wings there. Just like that. And we represent, some seagulls got that little black tip going on. And this just gives a little interest too. All right. I'll probably give this a nonsense-like title. Okay. Like so. I really don't have to do too much to Mr. Bird. I think we're good with Mr. Bird here. Okay, we leave the bird alone. Let's do this. I'll talk to you about this. Okay. All right. Yes, Fatima, it's going to bright. You can see it right there. If you go to my page, you'll see it right there. I'll just press the notify me button or whatever it says there. But it's all set and ready to go. Don't know if I'll necessarily be present or not. I should be here. All right. It only lasts a little over an hour. Okay. It's been edited and I've got little definitions popping up on the screen or stuff like that. All right. Okay. This guy. When it comes to something like water, you can be as extremely detailed as you feel you need to be. I know what the constraints of time is going. 15 minutes is going to be 1 o'clock. I understand it. I get it. So I probably won't. I'm just doing this because a few people asked. I should do, I guess, an updated version of an art. Yeah. So this is what I'm doing. All right. Before I do that, it's dry enough. Before I do that, before I get my mouth running full steam ahead, let's tighten up some of those lightning bolts, shall we? I'm going to use a pretty stiff, narrow, flat brush. This brush has seen better days too, but it's good for what I'm going to do, which is tighten up some of these lightning bolts here. Okay. we're gonna brighten up a few. Just like that. Some of these bolts are pretty darn thick. Some of these lightning bolts mean business, and we're gonna treat them as such. And then I'll come back and we'll add some sparkly things to these guys. Okay. It is mainly the main bolts that I want to brighten up here. Stuff like that. I can play around and gently fade some of this with that white. Just like that. I can do the same thing here. Kind of fade it. See where the lightning bolt's getting a little bit of its power from over there. Okay. See, when stuff starts to dry a little bit, you can really finish off your effects. And I'm using nothing special, but just white paint. The glycerin is just about dry on it. It's tacky. Some of it's totally dry. I'll look over here to my side and see what the temperature is here in the room. It's 81 degrees, so it's warmer right now. That's because it's probably 65 degrees outside. It wasn't like that last night. It was in the 30s. So I know we're scheduled to get our first snowfall later next week. Okay, so we have some of this going on. All right, that's cool. It's fine. All right. I'm gonna go back into my script liner. I really ought to trash some of these. Well, no. As long as they still got a little bit of life in them, I'll keep them. All right. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it, Madonna. Thanks for helping a brother out. Yeah, this is the brush that needs clinical help. I might have to just toss this guy. Maybe not. Maybe it's good for long grass or something, or fur detail. We'll see. All right, white, just white. Okay, we're gonna some of these little micro bolts. You can kind of add a little life to some of these. Not necessarily all of them. Keep some of them that off-white color, that little blue color. All right, makes it look pretty neat. It makes it look like some of them are a little far off in the distance, so I won't do all of them. Like, say for this one here, I'll put one in the front. All right, like this. Yeah. But keep that one in the back there, that little off color. You're trying to cheat and put dimension and depth all over the place. Really. I'm just laying my arm on top of my other arm like this, and I'm placing it on the board. That's what you see. Okay. Yeah, I'm adding a few more here and there. Just here and there. All right, it looks like it really got some stuff happening here. It's just not a very friendly sky. This is one of them God is really pissed thunderstorms. Something like that. All right, we'll leave it be. We'll stop. We'll stop. Okay. That looks interesting. All right. Now I'll go on my rant. As you see, the acrylic has now settled in here. Okay. Not really super duper bright. It's not, doesn't necessarily have to be. Okay. But I can show you really how simple it can be to do this. All right. Let's get rid of that. I just use my finger to get rid of that. We're gonna still keep it at this weird slant thing happening. All right. Can be as detailed as you want. Up to you, really. This is your world, your ocean, whatever makes you happy. All right. Okay. The stuff that is kind of lit, which is this. We'll deal with this right now. Okay. All right. So, let's get. This is where it can get kind of funky. Normally, I would just keep this like that. But in order to show you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to approach this, because some of you might want to do this yourselves. Okay, I'm just scraping off the residue. Yeah, some of that blue is all dried up and gone. I really don't need that yellow-red mix. Once again, I'm just getting rid of this stuff. No alcohol or anything. I'm just scraping off this stuff because I really just don't want to see it. Just clean it up a little bit. Yes, it is a razor blade, so of course be careful. Now this is funny. You see, I'm having a little issue with this and this and this. You know why? That's not acrylic paint. That's gouache. Okay. Rubbing alcohol and gouache. Gouache has like certain brands of high-end watercolor. They have a waxiness to them. And once it's dry, rubbing alcohol is not going to do too much with it. Water will. You put water down, it comes right off. Okay, so if some of you are trying these techniques and you're trying to get rid of some of that gouache on a surface, glass surface, whatever, and you see you're having a little trouble, don't panic. Just use water. Just use a little water. I had to think for a second how much of this deep stuff I need. I'm gonna write down what colors I need and just get some more paints. I'm gonna get the larger tubes because I go through them quite a bit. All right, enough of that ranting. Let's take some blue. Put it right here. Take some white. Put it right there. And we're gonna mix this. Lighten it up. That's probably perfect. It doesn't have to be super white. Okay. It's fairly dark outside. Anything that has to be really bluntly white will probably be waves, the actual foam of the waves. Everything else can be pretty much a little lighter than this color. Gotta be careful. That might be enough. A little lighter than the present color, because it's just a lot of squiggly lines. But the squiggly lines, believe it or not, have a pattern to them. And I think that's somewhat bright enough. I don't think I have to go any brighter than this. It doesn't have to be super bright, considering that the color is a mixture of black and blue. I think that should really be enough. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go with my raggedy one. This guy has really seen better days. I'm probably gonna have to just kill it off like a popular character on a sitcom. It's just history. All right, we're gonna water this stuff down. You needed the consistency of ink. This, in theory, should be bright enough. In theory. All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. So we got this. And now pay attention to pretty much the curvature of where we're at, and kind of the angle of where we're at. All right. And I only want to do the stuff that's kind of lit. Okay, everything else can be hinted at, but it's really dark, deep crest of the waves. All right, so there's kind of a way you can see where things are happening. All right, so let's say whatever's kind of dark, all right, is the underneath shadow of the wave. All right, you got me? So you see the light is hitting off the raised surface of the water at that particular time. So obviously what you see lit is higher. What you see that's not lit is lower, which is darker. You got me? So it's like the water's being pushed up, but then you got dips in it because it's an ocean. So even though it's being pushed up, you still got stuff happening in that area where it's being pushed up, which is why you see all of this. But it's still being, pushed up. The wind is pushing it up from all directions. Okay. All right. So it's all of this that's going to get its little bit of fun. All right. Hey, Marilyn, how are you? Okay. So what we'll do is put these joyful little squiggles in. If it's not bright enough, then I'll lighten it up for you guys. And it's basically, it's like me trying to, yeah, I don't think that, well, it might work. It just might work. Let me shut my mouth and keep going at it here. And what I'm doing really, essentially, it looks like handwriting. Very lazy handwriting. I don't think you guys can see that very well. It might have to be a little brighter. I don't think you can see it well. So, and it's really surprising of how much white you would actually need. Okay, you really can't tell till you really put it on there. All right. So we really may have to, because in your mind's eye, you don't feel it might not be too much. And then you come to find out it was not really enough. So let's take a little bit of white. We'll go in this little space area right here and just add that white to this area of blue. Right there. Now look at that color difference. I think that's able to be seen. What do you think? Okay. Okay, we're going on 1 o'clock here. All right. That might work. You might be able to see that. All right. Okay, here we go again. Another thing, I want tiny lines, so the brush has to be and I can actually, what I'm doing, see, I can frame all of this like that. You'll never tell. And then I have lines all through here that I'm painting around. And it makes it look a lot more complicated than what it actually is. I'm just, popping in lines here and there. Come in here. And you make it look about as haphazard as you can. just all these little lines in here. Let them break apart. Let them look just silly. And you're putting, all of this will be put together. Okay? It'll all be put together. Now this is a script liner, so obviously it's not gonna hold a lot of paint. You come on down. Once again, it's like you're trying to write cursive, but your fingers have palsy. And you keep going, because if it looks kind of funny to you and it doesn't look right, you stopped. Keep going. I'll put some right here, and I'll have it go the other way, like that. Because water is haphazard and crazy like that. Do the squiggles have a pattern? You just mimic. Here, see this little bit right in here? That, okay. Where my mind's eye is looking at is that it's going this way. I even put a little arrow there. So it's going that way. And it's going at a slant. And there's a rim here. But pretty much going at a little slant. Or curve. Alright. I can smooth some of that out. But the other stuff is going down this way. Okay, so it looks like a little crest of a wave. Here's the peak right here. Okay, that's its edge. Like that. Okay. And once you get accustomed to seeing where it is, they're all over the place. Really. And really, I'm just taking a very simple approach to it, because I can see something right here that goes this way. Okay. They're all over the place. And right now, I'm just doing the little detailed squiggly stuff on top of what's the the lightning is looking. Okay. There's a rim here. There's a strong rim here, just like this. I'll paint the rim out. Okay. And really, I'll just take it and literally go with the flow. Literally go with the flow. So the direction is here. Okay. And while it's still wet, you can guide your hand around there, because it looks like some of this stuff is like just below or just above the surface a little bit. So if you feel it's too strong, just use your fingers. This is going to look a lot more complicated than what I'm showing now. Remember, you're thinking in stages right now. Okay. This little band, should be able to see it. Yeah, you can see it. See the little band right here? Okay. There's a little band here. All right. Let's go up this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There's a band right here, right underneath here. This stuff right in here. Remember, we still have a path right in here. It starts to turn. Okay. And when it turns, it's going here. I'll light it up for you right here. I'll just do it this way. All right. There. Okay. Down below here, the band, I use my finger, and you see the path. Right? See the path of where it's going this way. And so I will put my little squiggles in that path like this. Come down. can go across as long as the majority of the path is going in that direction. All right, don't worry about that. See, I can cover all that up. All right, you can actually do a whole ocean doing that. Just putting your finger in there. Just take it and go in the direction. Okay, makes it look cool. Makes it look like you did something special, and you didn't. You just took your finger and just went like that. But that's our secret. Don't tell nobody. That little bit of black, you need that. All right, so you see how what I did was just push that right up in front. So imagine some artist doing that dozens of times just on a body of water. That's where you get all that crazy, wild, churning craziness from. Okay, you just handle a grouping at a time, basically. Just like this guy right here. We'll just create one right here, this. All right, and I'll just make it a little thicker here. All right, that part right there. Take your finger and you go in that direction. Okay, and it kind of comes up around here. Put some color there. And just kind of fades away. All right, just without even trying this hard. And we'll just put the light catching it right there. No big deal. You're surrounded by all that dark, so you get that peak. Just like that. And you can do stuff like this on and on and on. Now, as you see right now, all these squiggles appear white, but they're not. It's just a lighter version of what you're looking at here. And that's all. Okay, let's continue on. And I'm basically going over what you're looking at right now in front of your face. So you see all these little detailed things. You see the different grades and hues of these stripes and striations going on, and you're just adding motion lines to them. Okay, there's something crazy here happening. Okay, and we'll just kind of push it out like that. All right, you don't see it very well because of the glare. I'm sorry once again. What I'm doing is I'm taking the paint, I'll just exaggerate it. I'm big splotch of paint. I'm just going in a direction. I'm curving it as I'm doing it. And once I get those little striations going there, then I'll just take a thing and just highlight it and just go on about your business. All right. You'll probably see it when I post this. Okay, if you remember. Okay. All right, we'll aim some of this downward. Even though you see me doing what I'm doing, I don't want it really too bright. You'll get, it looks like much now, but you'll understand it. 'Cause, I guess people really question, how do you get randomness in water? Okay, that's basically what it boils down to. I had the same, see how I made that splash? Okay, I did the same thing. I did the same thing of like, how do these people do that? Which probably shied me away from painting ocean scenes. Yeah, I don't even to this day really do a lot of them. So the reason why I'm pretty much doing this one is because, I had a few requests of people asking me to, I guess, do an updated version of the arc and whatnot. And that's really it. Other than that, I really wouldn't have paid it much attention to even do it. Okay, as I'm looking at this, and once again, I'm thinking about time. I think I'm done screwing around with that. Okay, because I still got raindrops to add, and remember I told you about the black areas, because they're obviously the ship is surrounded by a wee bit of the black areas here. Okay, they're dips. I keep looking up here because I'm looking at the painting, but they're dips. Okay, you can really put the dips anywhere you want. Okay, but obviously around a multi-ton ship that's the size of a football field, you know, it's gonna churn up some stuff. All right, okay. With that said, I don't have to do anything more with the ship. We definitely have a dark side. We have a light side. I don't have to do nothing more with the Wayward Seagull. He has a lit side and a dark side. All right, don't have to do much more with Mr. Seagull. All right, all right. Let's take no, I'll do a slightly smaller one. No, this one's beat down. Can I take this? Yeah, I can. I'll use this one. All right, we'll start adding white caps and crests and stuff like that to the edge of the ship here. Okay, and we're going to utilize some of the dark, or we may have to create some in here. All right, let's go with a little bit of blue. We'll take the blue in this little almost blue-white area right in here. Just this color right here. We're going to go to the front of the ship. Okay, I don't know, right around in here, and we're just going to get some stuff stirring around right in here like that. And we'll come out this way, and yeah, we'll have it come up here a little bit like that. Okay, that ain't no big deal. All right, and if you want, you know, you can, well, I'll just use my fingers better that way. We can stir some of that around in there, but it's that really. All right, let's take some more of this bluey stuff. We're going to pop some here, going downward. We're going to dip some, come up like that, and really down the whole side of the ship. This thing is making all sorts of turbulence, and we're going to come up here like that and come out that way. All right, so we got some blue stuff going on. All right, and we can pretty much keep it like that. All right, I can take some of this paint. Look, watch it. You see how it's breaking up? If you get a certain pattern of this going in a certain direction, now you got these mini trough things happening. Come here and paint the letter U. Come here, and I'm just taking the side of the brush. It's doing the work for you. Come this way. See that? These little mini wake things that are happening there. Okay, look at how all of this is getting built up. You guys are paying attention here. All right, even back here in the dusk. There we go. Back and forth. It's those little breaking up. Oh, you guys can't see it. The breaking apart stuff that's going on back there. Try not to really do too much of that, but that's what's happening. That's what's going on. All right. Okay. Once again, this is just. Well, thank you. You don't have to work with this. Your comments. Your comments get me sometime. And you don't have to work with the shakiness. All right. I'm looking for another brush. Don't necessarily have to be a fan brush. I think I'll use this beat up thing here. Well, it's not really beat up. It's got rough little edges. It's flat brush. I'll show you here. Okay, see the edges? All right. We're going to use that to our advantage. Let's take nothing but white, because we're getting near the end of this thing. Okay. All right. All up in here, because the lightning is over there. You bunch it together, bunch it together, bunch it together, bunch it together. And we're all into the ship. Boom, all up in here. Pop it in there. There, just a bunch of taps all together. And it's all up in the ship there, against the ship there. Don't be afraid to put them in there. I mean, it's in the water, right? Just like so. Pop those guys in there. All right. Okay. As we do that, we can do directional thing. I'm just gonna go. We'll go a few of them up in here like this, and then I'll come down here and look at this. Actually, it should be going the other way. It should be going this way. It's going away from the ship. Pop some up in there. Press. It's going out that way. Right, you see all that action that's happening there? Then we'll come around this way with this guy. Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna take a little touch of water, just a little bit. And a couple of tiny little flicks, get real close to your board there. Get some ocean spray happening, even in here. Just a little bit. So we're gonna let that dry a little bit. So it'll separate itself from the raindrops. So we'll just let it dry. So there's a difference between the raindrops and the droplets of crashing waves. Okay. Just like that. You gotta let those little dots. You might not see it too well, but you know it's happening. It's in there. Okay. Let's go here. We'll put a couple of playful little drops here. And once again, we're just leading the eye, helping the eye along. So we'll do a couple of those. Just where I want the it's really the edges. And it's very light, extremely light. We could do a few this way. And you got a short window to kill some of that might be a little strong. You guys, I mean, we can do this all day. All right, I just don't want to, but you can literally do this mess all day long. Here, we can add a few just in there. See, little caps in there, and just fade it into the dark. Well, since we did it here, we might as well continue that on like that, and just go the other way like that. All right, but you see what I'm doing? You see what's going on? I can make this stuff more and more turbulent if I chose to. I really don't want to, really, but you can. It's starting to go that way because I'm making it go that way. I don't really have to. Here we get some stuff waving over like this. A quick curve. And then stop. See? I don't really want to get into all of that, really, because we're near the end of the painting. I really don't want to go through that with you guys. Not saying I don't want to. It's just in a couple hours you're gonna be looking at me again. So, but I want you to see how you do this. Okay. All right. Oh yes, it is now part of the ocean. It's in there. Okay, she's in there. She's in there good. All right. Okay. She is in there good. I'm glad you noticed that, Fatima. But yes, she's weighted. All right. She is definitely in there. Definitely. Okay, let's get back to my squeaky chair. There we are. We need this. Okay, here's the fun part, sweetheart. We're gonna go back into a fan brush. We'll use this one. Now we're getting, this is like the 98% part here. Okay, go into our fan brush here, dip it into water. We're gonna go into nothing but white. We'll put it right around here somewhere. Not all of this painting is super dry yet. Remember the angle, the direction of where the raindrops are gonna be, okay? We'll do this a piece at a time. Now we're gonna have raindrops all over the page. Got me? We'll do that grouping at a time. We'll just come here very lightly, pop on. See this? See all that's going on there? Okay, very lightly. Take your brush, just like that. Do it a piece at a time. That's just the best way to go about this. Yes, it is in the ocean itself. Just remember, please remember the direction. Please remember the direction, please. If I see it's getting a little too watery, I'll just add more pigment. And remember, it's not entirely dry. So, just like that. You don't do it in a way that it looks like icicles. You'll figure it out as you go along. I promise you will. You will figure it out as you go along. Let's go up here, upper corner. Okay. When you do this, work it. Don't sit there and look at your droplets, then they'll dry on you. Don't do that. You know, you don't take this, something like this, splatter and go, don't do that. All right, then you have snow. Don't do that. All right, don't do that. Trust me. Ask me how I know. All right, we'll keep it moving. You don't want to hear me sing. But as you can see, we're pretty much getting there. All right, let's add some strength right here. All right. Basically around the ship a little bit. Okay. Basically. A little more pigment. Yes, you can go in reverse. I think I'm really good here. I don't believe you're not out of the woods, bird. You're getting drenched on too. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you eat that. That's what you get for getting out of the ship. I think we're good. Sometimes I want brighter rain in a certain spot. All right, I will leave this be. We're done. Looks like a storm. Looks like lightning clouds. It looks like yeah, you don't want snow. No, you don't want snow. You want rain, you don't want snow. So don't make water droplets and then start daydreaming. Don't do that. because there's no glycerin on it. All right. It will dry. I mean, it almost dries just about on contact. You literally have a few seconds. Okay, and it's going to solidify because you can still see the droplets of the splashing on the boat, the ark. All right, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. All right. All right. And there it is in its glory. Let's pull the tape off. Okay. Actually, before I pull the tape off, I guess it would be nice to slap a signature in there. You know what? Let's fool everybody. Let's do my signature in dark blue. Why not? Right here. We'll just put it in dark blue right in here. Let's do it in dark blue today. I think we got a holiday coming up, right? Of some sort, Veterans Day or something. I don't know, some kind of holiday. Something to do with the military. Okay. Once again, I even showed you guys how to do all of this. It looks a lot more turbulent. Looks like everything's happening all over the place. Okay, I hope I explained it to you. Yes, I use Scotch tape. I make a little tab out of each piece. Scotch tape sticks way better than masking. Be careful, which is why I'm pulling and aiming, going in the opposite direction, because I really like the tight border it makes. This is my preference about a border. All right, now just because I did make a painting like this won't mean I won't sell it. I'll sell it in a drop of a hat. I got to make a huge one anyway. The guy wants a big one. It's going to cost him 24 by 36. It's going to cost him. It's nothing that I'm going to end up doing in a day. That's not happening. It's definitely a couple day deal to do it. And I did say yes, I'll do it for him. Oh, I want you to show you something. Let's pan back, because I know I showed Sonia this. All right, let's put my face back. See this? See these two dots there? You see those two? Those are. I know when I pan back, I killed the. Okay, got it. All right, you see these two dots? That is the that is the horizon line. All right. Look where the ocean is. See a little tilt? That's where the ocean is. Not only that, look, there's the dot right there. See, look. See this? Look. That's how I did the boat. See where the windows are? Let's go over here. Okay, it's more evident. Look. See? Look at that. Look at the windows. Top of the boat. See that? So the whole thing is in perspective. Great. Now I got to play a game of Twister to get my ruler. All right, there we go. All right. But that's how that was done, because essentially the arc is a giant rectangle. All right. Even when you do your well, I showed you that earlier. When you do the little bowl shape there, everything's still in perspective. Okay. And if you really truly look at it, and you guys will, if I take a decent enough picture, I'll probably take an outside picture of this. you'll still see the detail in there. You'll still see the windows. Okay, you'll even still see the clear part. Everything's supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. Okay, at least for me. Okay, at least for me. I wanted it dark, but not very, very dark. All right, I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted you to still see a wee bit of detail, but you still know light from dark. Okay, the whole sky's like freaking lit up, so you're gonna see bits of residual light and what have you. Okay, but what sells all of this is you're keeping the dark in there. Okay, you can really get super detailed with it. Even you may figure it's detailed now, but some people really like to paint water, and you can spend 90 minutes doing glowy, shiny, squiggly stuff. I'm not having it, but you can do it. I showed you how to do it in this type of quickie technique on how to do that. Okay, essentially the longest thing that really took to do was the water. All right, wasn't much to do for the boat. The bird, we're finished with that. All right, okay, enough of that. Enough of me running my mouth. I do appreciate you guys coming. It is 1:30. Go get a lunch or something, because that's what I'm gonna do. All right, will I be here at 5 o'clock? Yeah, I got rehearsal at 7. I should be here, because like I say, it's only gonna last an hour. A little past an hour. All right, the watercolor thing, and I show you all sorts of stuff going on with that too. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I do run my mouth a bit. Okay, thank you. I shall see you when I see you. For those of you who might be so inclined, yeah, there's a super chat down there. I would rather have the PayPal, but yeah, there's a super chat down there. It all goes to me getting more paints and more paper and blah blah blah. All right, okay, and if you guys know how to get in contact with me if you want a catalog. I do have them in PDF form, and I do update them often. I'm gonna have to update them again, and include this thing in there. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there also. But I shall see you guys when I see you. You guys take care. Come on, right, there you go. And I shall see you maybe in a few hours. All right. All right. Hey, Bree, how are you? Good to see you, Bree.